What's up, everybody? Welcome to Snail Mail. This is our Friday show. Happy Friday, everybody out there. Hopefully everybody has some fun plans for the weekend. I'm here in the studio once again. We're going to listen to some voicemails with the one and only Jack Stan Jimmy. Jack Stan Jimmy, how are you?
Was this a message that was sent in?
This is one, yeah.
This is was that.
This one's from, I don't know if you'll be able to guess who it's from.
I'm going to say Samurai James.
No.
Oh. Then Clinkin' Beard Strong.
I'll give you a hint.
Mr. Poole.
It's Mr. Poole. He made some cool t-shirts that say Jimmy and Jimmy on them.
Yep. I need a Jack Stan Jimmy now, huh?
Yeah.
I guess mine should win the Jack Stan award.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that thing's been on Jack Stands for years.
It has been on there for a while.
But hopefully, fingers crossed, things are going to change here very soon.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll talk about those in some of the upcoming episodes for sure. But if you want to be a caller on our snail mail episodes, just like today's episode, you can do that at 916-345-4744. And we will get to your message eventually and we'll discuss it.
Cool.
Eventually.
Yeah, eventually. I'm looking through the text messages because I never look through the text messages. Sorry, everybody. Apparently, I'm guessing Zach called in about this, but Zach from Oklahoma has an interesting picture here.
Oh, really?
Of the outcome of having a belt on his serpentine belt on the wrong side of the idler pulley.
Yeah, that doesn't work.
That doesn't work, buddy. I wonder if that was part of his issues.
Maybe.
That's impressive that rubber can do that to metal housing. I don't know if you can. I don't know. We need to like have a TV here. If only we had a TV, we could show it on the camera. But
I could. Yeah. Oh wow.
Right. Sorry,
it's not supposed to wear away like that.
That shouldn't be wearing away like that.
You can send it to me, and I can add that to the video.
Okay. Yeah, sorry. I didn't mean to get distracted, but I was very distracted when I saw that picture real quick.
Maybe we'll discuss that here in a future upcoming voicemail.
Yeah, maybe I'm hoping there's a voicemail explanation of that. I need to send this to you before I forget.
Okay.
There we go. All right. So back to some voicemails.
Yes.
By the way, there are some other names that Uncle Poole sent through. So we'll be getting to those.
Was not worried about people sending in about puns for me.
Some punny names.
Yeah.
We have 23 voicemails to get through today.
Wow. Maybe for Christmas and New Year's, we'll just do voicemail episodes.
That'd be kind of fun. Close out the year, just getting caught up with everybody. All right. First one here is, somebody from the 559.
559 crawlers.
Yeah. 559 Yodas.
Yoda crawlers.
Yeah, Yodas. We don't.
Yodas.
Yeah.
Okay.
Logan? Maybe?
Logan.
It looks like it's a Logan. Let's see what Logan's got to say. Oh. Let's
try to connect Bluetooth.
Yeah, let's hook the phone to the board. We're professionals. We've done this before, I promise.
Bluetooth's ready for you. Are you you need me to hit the button?
No, I think it'll go. Okay, maybe we need to hit the button, I guess. No, it's flashing.
It just lit up.
All right, take two. Let's see what Logan has to say.
Hey guys, Logan here. I know you'd mentioned you got a bunch of voicemails. Maybe someone's already called talking about this, but for a couple episodes now, I keep hearing Tyler yapping about C-clip axles. He even mentioned that like a C-clip axle doesn't belong anywhere near a real 4x4 trail. And I think you're offending a lot of Land Cruiser guys with that. A lot of FJ40s, FJ60s. They've been dominating shit for a long time with that semi-float 9.5-inch rear. So just wanted to come and call and kind of defend the C-clip a little bit. You know, we need some respect for semi-float axles, is what I'm saying. They're out there. It's kind of like a silent majority kind of thing. They're out there. They're getting shit done. So yeah, have a good one, guys.
No respect for C-clip axles. Sorry. I'm fighting you on this.
That's funny.
Semi-float FJ40 axles are C-clips.
Okay. FJ40s and 60s?
think the 60 was too. I don't think they changed it. Them. Yeah, I'm not for certain on the 60 axle.
Yeah.
I know that the FJ40, that really narrow width rear, is a semi-float C-clip.
Interesting. I don't think my mini truck is a C-clip.
No,
though.
it's not.
Yeah. So not all semi-floats are C-clipped.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was like, I've taken my axle apart many times. I don't remember a C-clip being in there.
So that's what that clunking is from. Yeah. The axle's not supposed to move around in there? Okay.
Whoopsies. The disc brakes are holding it in.
Yeah, right. That'd be sad. That'd be really scary. Jesus Christ. Yeah. No, I am not a fan of FJ40 axles. I know that people run them. And I don't honestly know how that makes it work. Like, being so ingrained in the Rubicon and Fordyce up here, we get to hear a lot about the weak points of different vehicles.
Yes.
So we get to hear when people break on the trails. And so I obviously, JK, steering boxes,
tie rods.
It's not the tie rod. It's the brackets for the
panhard.
Thank you. The panhard brackets. That's a weak link. The 21 spline input shafts in dual cases. That's a weak link for Toyota stuff. Just Fords in general being on the trail are weak links. So, I have not heard too much of FJ40 axles going kaboom, C-clipped.
No, I haven't
C-clipped
either.
axles. So I'm not sure if Toyota had some different way to make a C-clip axle than the Dana 35s, because we hear of Dana 35s going kaboom all the time. It's probably the most common break on the Rubicon.
Yes, I agree with that. Mm-hmm. Do you think it's a majority or a masses issue?
I think it could definitely be that too. You just don't see a whole lot of FJ40s on the trail anymore.
Right. And if you do, they don't have the 40 axles underneath.
Usually they've got Dana 60s or something under them. Yeah. So, I don't know. That's an interesting thought. I'm still very anti C-clip axles. So for rock crawling stuff, if you want to get into rock crawling where you're going to be putting a ton of torque and stress on your drivetrain, just don't do yourself a favor. Don't run C-clip axles.
Right.
Do everybody else, all your friends, a favor too that are running with you.
There are some fantastic trails down in the 559. We covered a few of them in a previous podcast.
Yeah.
And, they have some very tough obstacles down there as well. So I'm sure, Logan's put his rig. It sounds like he's got a Land Cruiser is my guess.
Yeah, I'm curious, Logan, call back in. Let us know more about your rig. If you are running an FJ40 C-clip axle and haven't had any issues, I would also love to hear that too.
Yeah. And I am curious. I am curious about if there's a major difference between 35s and the C-clip setup on 35s and the C-clip setup on a Dana or a FJ40.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm curious about that, but I'm also curious what you run. But I think that I don't want to say that the Rubicon's harder. I think it's just more traversed than some trails down in that area. And so we just hear about it more often.
And we're local to it, right? So we're just ingrained in that community.
Yeah, kind of. So. Yeah. And we're also to some extent one of the people that, gets reached out to see if we can help.
Yeah.
So we hear about what's breaking.
Yeah.
Yep.
So. All right. Well, cool. No, that's good.
Thank you.
Thanks for calling in, man. That's some fun information, some fun talk about C-clips and FJ40s. Zach. I think this is it.
Is this the one? Okay.
So yeah, it says, what's up? I made a mistake. So let's see if we get to hear about this.
Right. What's up, Jimmy and Tyler? Zach from Oklahoma here. I made a mistake when I was putting on my alternator like a couple months ago. I apparently, and I just now realized this, I put the belt on the wrong side of an idler pulley, which I guess in theory wouldn't be a big issue, but the issue is now that my belt has been rubbing up against a part inside the engine bay, and that part has coolant that runs through it. I have no idea what damage I have done so far. I haven't taken anything off yet, but I was trying to take off my fan clutch or the water pump section, and it doesn't sit still long enough for me to take the bolts out. I've done messed up. It was supposed to go on the other side. I also almost made the mistake of forgetting to put that pulley on when I was putting it back together. Well, I guess I made a bigger mistake. There's now a groove in the belt. I don't know if the belt... I think the belt's going to hold up. I might have to get a new belt in the future. I got to just put it on the other side right now and see what happens. I now got to figure out how to take everything apart with everything with not being tensioned down by the regular force of the belt being tensioned in the right position. Yeah, I screwed up, and now that's why I've been leaking coolant. It's not going into the transmission or anywhere else. It's because there might be a hole because the belt rubbed up against stuff, and oh gosh, that part might be a big hefty part to fix. Oh, that freaking gum. I'll keep y'all updated. Keep crawling.
Oh,
Dang.
Zach.
Yeah, that's crazy.
The image reminds me of your Bobcat when you're what is that called? Your harmonic balancer, I think, was when that was loose or coming off, and your crank pulley was flying all over the place. Yeah. You didn't do any permanent damage though. I mean, it wore into some parts, but it wasn't. You were able to catch it before it wore through the parts.
Correct.
This picture, I'm dumbfounded that a rubber belt could do that.
The rubber belt wore through some metal parts.
Yeah.
So it's been sliding along those metal parts for a while. Under some tension.
Yep.
Anyways, I'm going to address some things. Zach, I would change your belt. At minimum, I would get a new one and carry it around with you all the time and the tools that you need to change it.
Yes.
Because that thing could pop at any moment.
Yeah.
And then you're going to be left stranded. So I would definitely change it if you can. Like I said, at minimum, carry one around. So once it does pop, then you just need to change it immediately.
Yep.
Who knows what might happen when a belt breaks? It could fling around and do some more damage on the inside. So that's another reason I would change it. Just change it out, especially if it has grooves in a section of it that's not supposed to be there. The belt is weak. As for if you're leaking coolant, obviously that's been the problem or a problem for a while. Then and you should probably fix that and change it out to figure out that solution. I'm not entirely sure what part he's talking about, but that's free moving, but it did remind me of the fan clutch.
Oh yeah.
Being a part of that, because that's kind of it's a free moving part by itself that you need to hold, but still undo some bolts, but it wants to spin. And I always just use 2 wrenches in that instance. And I'm just going loose and tightening on one, and just using one as a brace to get it off. And then, I don't know how I think I get the last one off just with some finesse or holding the fan or something. So you need to brace it somehow so that you can apply the tension to it. But I don't know. Well, I'll throw that image up. And maybe if you sent it to me, I'll make it the thumbnail because it's so impressive.
Yeah.
So it'll be there so you guys can check it out.
Cool. Next one up, Kevin Poole.
All right.
He ran out of time, so no transcript available, and he called back. So we'll see what he's got to say here.
Okay.
Oh, man. You're talking about oil viscosities. I use different ones depending on what I'm using for whatever I'm working on, really. It's nice to have kind of a selection. If you're drilling overhead, it's kind of hard when you have something really thin dripping in your face. So I'll use the one like Honey because I can dip my drill bit in there, drill out overhead. But the different
oh God, you're going to make me use big words. Different viscosities, I can't even say, in cutting oil exists because the ideal level of lubrication and cooling needed varies depending on the machining process. A lot of it depends on material being cut, cutting speed. Higher viscosity provides better lubrication, but can also hinder the heat removal. You get basically, while a lower viscosity cools better, but may not offer sufficient lubrication. It's all comes down to what you're doing. Some of it's high speed and some of it's low speed. Low speed stuff is a little better with the thicker stuff because it doesn't fling everywhere, or same with high. But a higher viscosity oil creates a thicker film, basically. It just provides better lubrication for heavy cuts. Kind of the thinner stuff, it's a lot more oily. Oil flows more easily. It also kind of helps with heat removal from cutting. So it kind of just depends. And also, some of it comes down to personal preference. We use food grade, and if it might have to be out inside the facility, obviously you want a food grade because it's easier to clean up. You don't have to use brake cleaner acetone to clean it. And then also there's aluminum ones. Some of them are specifically made for smell because you get into some areas where you don't want something that has a lot of strong odor. So it kind of just comes down to your cutting speed, really, is what it, and material. You've got stainless, you've got steel, aluminum. So really just depending on what you're doing. Cutting speed's the big one. High-speed machining often benefits from a lower viscosity, so something a little bit thinner. Whereas if you're going slower, you're going to want something with a higher viscosity for better lubrication. So I ain't an expert on that stuff, but that's kind of the gist of it, you know. And then also if you're drilling something super deep, you might want something that will run down in the hole better. So you might use something that's got, you know, a higher viscosity. And then also it kind of comes down to finishing. Delicate operation like threading or polishing a lower viscosity oil is often used to minimize surface imperfections or whatever. Kind of comes down to preference, and then also what you're using. Kind of the short and down dirty for it. But the thicker stuff we use a lot because you can drip your drill bit in there, and then it's a lot easier because it'll actually help hold all the chips, especially if you're tapping. All the chips will now stick to your tapper.
And part 2.
Hey, I ran out of time for the first time. Well, down dirty, basically higher viscosity improves the lubrication ability of the fluid, but decreases the cooling performance. Lower viscosity provides a better cooling performance and easier removal of solid particles. But like I said, simple one for what we're doing. If you have a thicker one, it'll stick to your drill bit, and then all your chips stick to it, and they're easier to wipe off than going all over the floor or whatever you're working on. So anyway, somebody else might have a little better information. But all right, you guys have a good one. Bye.
Nice. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I like it.
That's a basic description. Yeah, that worked out rather well.
Mm-hmm.
I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
But it does sound like a lot of it comes down to your cutting speed and the material you're cutting.
Mm-hmm.
And there's somewhat of a science in between there.
Yeah.
That we just don't know.
Yeah.
But the rule of thumb is, you know, do you want a thicker viscosity if you don't want to clean up?
Yeah.
Thinner viscosity for things maybe that you, a deeper hole or kind of something that you want the lubricant to drop down into.
Yeah.
That you're going to be, or you're drilling a longer distance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. That's what I got too. So
Sweet.
Good info. Thanks,
Yep.
Kevin.
Thanks, man.
Next up is Baily with Better Half Off-Road.
Awesome.
A head gasket issue. Well, we'll see.
Hey guys, Baily with Better Half Off-Road. Listening to the snail mail from the other week about the possible head gasket issue on a Toyota Tacoma. I'm not sure how the Tacomas are set up, if it is the 4-cylinder, but my Toyota pickup had a similar issue where I thought it was going to be a head gasket, and every single thing just pointed towards a head gasket on a 22RE, which is very, very uncommon. And I couldn't diagnose it any other which way. Well, we started tearing it apart, got it torn down, pulled the head off. Gasket looked fine. I couldn't find anything wrong with it. we tested it before, and it tested that the gasket was going to be bad. Cleaning everything up, getting ready to finally slowly start assembling it back together, and come to find out the timing chain plastic guides were broken, and didn't notice that the timing chain actually wore a hole through the timing chain cover. And if you guys are familiar with the 22REs, the coolant port runs right next to where the timing chain is, and the guide helps prevent the timing chain from, well, hitting the sidewall on the timing chain cover. So if the newer school, the Tacomas, first or second gen, 4-cylinders are designed in a similar way. If the timing chain guides are bad, that might be something to look at. Not saying it's a fix. He might already have it fixed. But that's just something I ran into. Did a whole head gasket and a full-blown refresh. Did every new gasket on my 22RE because, well, I was already irritated, so might as well spend more money and do everything. Well, you guys keep crawling, and I'll talk to you guys later.
Thanks, Baily.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, those plastic guides are notorious for breaking.
Yeah.
And people put metal ones in to help prevent that. But that coolant port is right there. And, if those plastic guides break, for sure, it'll wear through your timing chain cover and give you a problem there. We heard from Zach a little earlier. Maybe that was his problem going on. I don't know why, but whenever I hear 2nd gen Tacoma or even 3rd gen Tacoma, I'm just straight to assumption of a 6-cylinder.
Yeah.
I don't know what Zach has. Maybe he's said it in the past if he has the 6 or the 4-cylinder. And I don't know if the 4-cylinder in the 1st gen and 2nd gens have a chain. I think they're built.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's a different whole setup. But that's always great information for somebody out there. Maybe they're running into the similar problem with their 22RE, and they should look at the plastic guides in the timing chain.
Yep.
I know also if those guides are gone, it's really easy to skip a tooth and your whole timing could be off.
That's what I thought he was going to say, was he was going to lead to the whole timing just being off, and that's why it was running weird. But rubbing through your coolant port is even worse.
Yep, that's pretty bad too.
That's pretty bad. All right, cool. That's a good one. Next up is our Gladiator friend.
Ah,
yeah. Here we go.
Okay.
Good morning, Tyler. It's Gladiator on 17-inch rim. Just wanted to call in and say thanks for having Luce on the podcast, talk about the Rebelle Rally. I just wanted to update everybody that she got 15th, so their goal was top 15. And they achieved it, getting 15th place out of the 60-something teams competing. And she is returning to the Rebelle in 2025. She's partnered up with Brittany from Relentless Fabrication in Reno. Brittany's going to be driving our 2014 Tacoma. We're going to tear the Tacoma down from being an overland Tacoma and return it to a rally Tacoma. We're going to strip it all down and make it light and fast, kind of more desert style. And they're going to return in 2025, hoping to get top 10. So I wanted everybody to be able to follow along. Their new Instagram page is Team Ultimate Rebellion on Instagram. So give them a follow, watch the build progress, and watch them hopefully get top 10. We'll see you guys.
Sweet. Yeah, that's exciting news. I did see that she was partnered up with somebody. And for the life of me, I don't know why I didn't recognize Brittany. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. They're both really cool people. We had Relentless on the podcast a few years ago now, but maybe we'll need to do a cruise up there to Reno area and interview the ladies again when it gets closer to next year's Rebelle. That would be pretty fun.
Yeah.
And I'm already following the Instagram. I think you guys are tagging me too. But I'm excited to see the teardown of the Toyota. That's pretty cool. You guys did something the other day, and I was like, I need to do that on mine. Like that's a really good idea. But I don't remember what it was. I think it was a anytime locker or something. It was something like that.
Huh.
But yeah, really cool. I'm excited to follow along with you guys, and I'll add the Instagram handle to the show notes for everybody.
I'm curious what is the strategy for tearing down the Tacoma, and what changes are they going to be making to the Tacoma to make it better for the terrain that the Rebelle travels in.
So now we need to get Eric and Nick on the podcast to talk about tearing down that.
Yeah.
Or is that going to be a ladies chat because it's the Rebelle?
I think either one of them could do it. Brittany's smart. She's around vehicles all the time, and Lisa is too. So yeah.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
I prefer to have the ladies on.
They're much better talkers. So
they are.
All right. Next up is BeerCraig. What was the Instagram? Ultimate Rebellion.
Oh yeah, the Ultimate Rebellion or something like that. It'll be in the show notes for everybody.
Cool. Follow along with them. They're doing some fun stuff. So next one, BeerCraig. See what he's got to say.
Hey, Craig from Oklahoma. I left voicemail a while ago. I told Tyler to not play it, and he told me to play it because I sound like an idiot is the best part. So we'll see if that plays. If not, forget that first part. I'm going to try and quickly bird walk this one. Talking about Minecraft. So my kids skimmed over Minecraft, but they are obsessed with Fortnite. And I have started playing Fortnite with them. I started a year ago, and I tell myself, hey, I'm playing, for the kids, do stuff with the kids. But I am just as locked in as they are. Like I feel that. So you're already in Minecraft. Maybe just don't let daughter play Fortnite at all. But we used to go camping once a month. We homeschooled our kids forever, and then now they're not homeschooled. But when we homeschooled, they camping, once a month. Now it's all Fortnite. Can't get them off of electronics. I can, but it's tough enough. And so now I go wheeling by myself and camping never in my life. So don't get locked into another thing. Thank you guys. I'm enjoying all this stuff. See if I sound like an idiot, and then sound like an idiot again later. If I do, it's because I am an idiot. I appreciate all stuff, enjoying it. I don't know how to end a voicemail. Bye.
That was awesome. Love it.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think the mini assistant would ever really get it. That's not into Fortnite. That's not really the type of game that she enjoys playing.
I've never played Fortnite. What kind of
I
game
think
is
it's a
Fortnite?
first-person shooter. I'm not even 100% sure what it is.
I was thinking it was like League of Legends. That's like a team-based strategy fighting game.
Yeah,
but I'm
not sure.
I've never played Fortnite. I've never
There's
played League of Legends or
one
Minecraft either.
That all of her friends are in, and I can't remember what it is right now. But it's just it's like a game of a bunch of mini games, and they all enjoy playing it.
Huh.
But yeah, Minecraft. It was funny because I originally started because I was like, this looks interesting. Let me play. Join you, and I'll play. Mm-hmm. And then I realized that when I started playing when she's not around, that I wasn't playing with her. Uh-huh. I was like, I'm actually enjoying this.
Uh-huh.
And now my world is so kind of advanced from where she was. She now wants to play on my world a lot.
Oh yeah.
And run around. But what I'm shocked about that stupid video game is just actually how in depth it can get. Like you think it's just all squares and you're like, oh, it's just, you're digging and there's things you're trying to find and then you can build, but there's like ways that you can build a cauldron and then you can get flowers and you can convert the flowers to dyes and then you can build leather armor. And then, you can put the leather armor in the cauldron and put the dye in the water in the cauldron and you can dye your armor different colors, and there's just like, instead of like, I got a flower and I got a piece of dirt and I got a rock, what can I make? It's just all these things that just, there's multiple levels of enjoyment or like knowledge within the game, from just digging to building something to now I'm kind of like trying to farm and like, I built fences and I have cows and I'm building like a stable and I'm trying to get wheat, you know, so I can feed the animals. And, you know, it's just like a whole nother level of it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've quickly come to realize that it's like, I need to stop this addiction so I can fulfill other things that need to happen in my life.
Yeah.
But whenever the mini assistant wants to play for a little bit, I'll be like, yeah, let's play.
Nice.
Otherwise I'm like trying to cold turkey it out of my life.
Yeah. It's an interesting topic of kids and outdoor activity versus screen time.
Yeah.
Right. As well.
Absolutely.
And so I've always, I don't know, I grew up with both, I guess, outdoor activity and screen time. And I don't know if I still haven't figured out in my head, and I'm going to have to figure it out in the next few years.
Yeah.
With Reed, you know, how do you manage those? And is screen time a really inherently bad thing, or
yeah,
how do you manage that and draw lines and boundaries
sure
on what they can and can't do, what they should not be doing?
Yeah, what we try to do is almost eliminate screen time to some extent. We'll just blanket it that way, it's easier. But whenever we try to go out and do things all the time, whenever we can, we're going to go out and we can go do something. Anytime we're driving longer than an hour, she can take her Switch.
Okay.
And then she could play the Switch during that time. And usually we don't want her playing on side roads. We'll just like, as soon as we hit the freeway, you can start playing your Switch. And sometimes she does, and we just don't really care. But she kind of gets nauseous on windy roads. And so we just kind of prepare for that. You know, like, hey, we're going off the highway now. It's going to get windy. You know, instead of playing your Switch, which you're 100% locked into, start reading a book, which you're sort of locked into.
Yeah.
Scenario. And then like while we're at home, she almost she has to fulfill all of her chores, obviously, before she could play any video games or watch a movie or whatever it is. And that's it, you know? So we're always trying to go do something first. And then it really comes down to how can you incorporate screen time into going to do something.
So that's kind of my thought, right? So as Craig was talking about, you know, they used to go camping once a month, and now it's just him going wheeling by himself kind of thing. It made me think, you know, what if I could incorporate screen time into camping and wheeling trips?
Yes.
Via the Starlink or something like that, and just be like, okay, yeah, the couple hours throughout the day, you can be on your screen, maybe in the evening time.
Yeah.
In between dinner and bed or whatnot. But like, you still need to be able to go hiking and be active as well.
100%.
So,
yeah, that's why we're kind of like when you're driving to the destination, you can have your screen time.
Gotcha.
Right. But once we get to that destination, you know, the Switch or whatever console goes away and, you know, you have to engage and talk to people and be present.
Yeah.
And then maybe in the afternoon, we can let you have some more screen time or, you know what, but if the mini assistant hasn't gone wheeling with me a lot, but my view would be like, we're driving to the trailhead. You could be on the screen time. As soon as we're entering the trail, like no more computers or no more screen time of any sort. You have to be present, off-roading, camping, and everything that has to do with outdoors.
Yeah.
Maybe, hey, you want to go into the tent. It's like late at night. It's dark outside, which is, you know, normally it's dark outside and we're inside with lights on.
Yeah.
But, you know, when you're camping, it's dark outside. So maybe at that point you're like, okay, you can go in the tent and play a game for an hour or so.
That's kind of my thought. Yeah. Sit around the campfire. You can play the game or I don't know, something like that. But
yeah, get yourself ready for bed. Go play the video game for a little bit. And then we're going to come in and we're going to say, okay, nighty night time.
Yeah.
But
nighty night, Dad needs to start drinking.
I've already, at that point, it's already happening. But yeah, I think there's a level there, but kids need to get away from the screen time, and it's an interesting argument. There's actually really interesting stuff happening in Australia right now with
I saw that
them eliminating social media for anybody under 16, I believe it is.
I saw that this weekend.
And I don't know if it went through or not.
They passed it.
They did pass it.
It's in the process of passing.
Yeah.
Like it's passed and now they're just doing the checks and balances, I think.
So it's not completely the same, but it's a tangent, something similar to what we're talking about. Because so now it's just, they're realizing that all this screen time isn't beneficial, which is interesting because in a way, we grew up with screen time, right? We're at the age where, we were playing video games. Video games were coming out. There wasn't social media. There wasn't internet and everything that we had. So there was a lot less online. So, but are video games bad? I don't think so.
I don't think so. I learned a lot of the tenacity of getting stuff done and organizational structure and getting people to come together to accomplish a common goal through online video games.
Right.
So and that's really what I base a lot of the success of Morphlight on is understanding that from World of Warcraft and StarCraft when I was competing in StarCraft. So it's an interesting thing where I'm like, I definitely think video games can teach people some major life skills.
Yeah.
But how do you manage it becoming an addiction and getting in the way of other stuff?
Yeah. So, and even Minecraft, I was telling the assistant the other day, I was like, there's so much happening all at once that you have to organize your tasks, like your daily tasks or what you want to accomplish.
Yeah.
Like in your head.
Yep.
So that you can then, move it to your hands, to your controller, to the, the console. So you can complete what you want to get done, because you could start one thing and then immediately get sidetracked and go a completely different way. And so you have to put your mindset in the right spot and complete your goal if you want to do well in the game.
There's definitely, I guess there's been some studies done on surgeons who play video games.
Yeah.
They did something that was like 25 to 30% better at their jobs.
Wow.
As surgeons. And they said that it came down to mainly the ability to make decisions on the fly.
Okay.
And take the incoming information that they have to process in their brains, right? And then doing something with it and making a decision and then moving to action.
Right.
And they said that surgeons that played video games were way better at doing that than surgeons who didn't.
Sure.
And then Elon Musk, speaking of this, he just became the #1 Diablo 4 player in the world.
Really?
Yeah. He just took over the #1 spot. So Elon Musk, everybody, is the #1
Diablo 4 player.
Player. It's just, I don't know. It's just something, I think it's something about video games that makes you have to think very quickly and act on the fly.
Yes. And so you have to continue down that path, right? So you have to make semi-educated guess on what you need to do, what you need to act on. And then you have to go down that line or else if you continue to be wishy-washy, you're not going to go anywhere.
Yeah. Yep.
And so, I do think there's benefits to it. I do think there is benefits to being disconnected.
I agree.
And present with family and friends and nature and everything else. And that's, I do feel that there's a level of video games in real life, like day-to-day life. But once you get into nature, it's no electronics.
Yeah.
Be present with nature. You're here. You're getting away from what you do daily and you're putting yourself in a situation that is not normal. And you need to learn how to adapt and cope with separating yourself from the day-to-day stuff in a place that you can relax.
Yeah. That's a good way. I think that's a good viewpoint to put it. So,
and so for BeerCraig, I would highly push for you to be like, this weekend we're going camping. Like you can play Fortnite until we get to such and such spot. And then once we hit dirt, video games and everything are off.
Yeah.
Anything electronic, minus the car. Or your lithium cube or whatever is off, and you need to, look outdoors, read a book, listen to the birds, give them a field searching guide, go find these 5 plants or whatever.
I wonder if there's a way you can gamify being in the outdoors. I'm sure there
100%.
is.
Yeah. Go name these birds.
Yeah.
What are these plants?
Yeah.
Find these 5 different types of pine cones.
Yeah.
and you get a Reese's Pieces.
Yeah.
Or
You'd
whatever.
have to level up, right? That's the whole gamification of it.
Well, yeah.
Is
Leveling up is
so-
just more knowledge
Exactly.
in one way or another.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you level up, you've killed more people in a game, or
Mhm.
you've, fulfilled so many different types of tasks or whatever it is, and you're just leveling up.
Built a lean-to in under 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You can level up then.
Yeah. Just give them, Boy Scout
Mhm.
merit badges.
Right. Yeah. I guess merit badges are a gamification of Boy Scout skills. So yeah. All right. We're kind of at the time now where we typically cut it off. BeerCraig did call back.
Okay.
Do we want to do that one real quick or save it for start next time?
How recent or how soon was it after?
It was about an hour and a half.
Yeah. Let's hear it.
Okay. Here we go.
Hey, BeerCraig again. I did a quick visual check and then a Apple podcast check on camping for the podcast. But I would be interested in hearing a new, updated camping item podcast. So things you bring to go out camping, especially cold weather camping, because I know how much Tyler loves snow wheeling. Not really snow wheeling out here in Oklahoma. Some cold weather camping, but the TikTokies are trying to get me to buy all the space heaters and all the diesel heaters and auxiliary batteries and stuff. And I froze my balls off last year sleeping in the bed of my truck. And so I want to figure out for me personally, it's super, super budget, but I'd be interested to hear kind of a camping essentials, like cold camping, hot weather camping, how do you stay cool kind of thing. So, sorry I sound weird. I'm going through some sickness stuff, and so hard to get a bunch of words out and breathe. No, Todd knows all about that. Again, I sound like an idiot because I'm an idiot. Appreciate you guys. Still know how to end a voicemail, so look forward to hearing.
All you need to say to end is keep crawling.
Keep crawling.
That's the best way. Monday's topic?
I like it. I
Okay.
think that's an interesting way of splitting it out too. Warm weather camping versus cold weather camping, or
Yeah, gear. I think a
Inclement weather
cold
gear,
weather camping / keeping yourself warm budget style. I think that would be a fun topic. So we'll definitely do that. Let's just blanket. Let's just
leave it there.
Well, no. Let's just let's give some ideas now, but not give too much away, just so that if you want to know more, listen to Monday's episode. But let's just not leave him hanging so much.
Yeah, definitely. Top of my list for cold weather camping is lots of socks.
Okay.
And wool socks or wool based socks, no cotton. And that's rule number 1 and rule number 2. So lots of socks that are wool, and rule number 2 is no cotton clothes.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's top of my list for cold weather camping. So
Yeah. The first thing that sort of came to mind when you were talking about all the gear that is required to go snow camping by all the TikTokers or Instagram reel people is just start small, do what you want to make yourself comfortable.
Yeah.
So if you're cold all the time during day and night, like how do you keep yourself warmer? Right. Like Tyler said, no cotton. Cotton absorbs water. And when it does absorb water, it is cold.
Yeah.
Wool doesn't really absorb water. And if it is wet, it'll still keep you warm. And I've asked you this every year. Are you ready for it? What are the 2 natural fibers that will keep you warm even when they're wet?
Wool and silk.
Wool and silk.
Mm-hmm.
And we had the New Zealand guy on, and he said possum fur. So I need to look that one up.
Possum fur is fantastic. I still haven't found it yet in the United States. I haven't really looked for it either.
Oh, yeah.
But in New Zealand, it's everywhere because possums are invasive species.
Sure.
So there's a reward. If you kill a possum, you get like $20 from the government or something like that.
Yeah.
So there's a ton of beanies or toques if you're in Canada, gloves, scarves, socks that are made out of possum fur.
Yeah.
And that was all fantastic stuff. I remember every time I went through a store in New Zealand, I was like, just petting the possum items.
Right. Yeah. So, and then there's many ways for you to keep yourself warm.
Yeah.
Like, right. You know, do you need good boots? Do you need good socks? Do you need good, don't wear jeans.
Yeah.
Jeans absorb water too. They're a cotton based substance, you know, so get some gaiters, maybe if you're going around in the snow, gaiters, that's what we call them. I don't know if there's a technical name for them, but they're like waterproof material that goes around your boot, covers your ankle, and goes like up your shin.
Yeah, almost to your knee.
And then locks in. So no snow or, anything can get into your boots, right? And then if you're cold while you're sleeping, what are you sleeping on? You sleeping on an air mattress in the bed of your truck? Like, that's cold.
It's very cold,
right? Start looking at R-rated items for sleeping. Like one of the best R-rated items is just those thick, closed foam, dense blue pads.
They're like 1.5 inches thick.
Not even. They're like 3/4 of an inch.
Yeah.
But the thicker,
those ones. Yeah. Okay.
The ones that people roll up.
Yep.
And then if you can get one of those, then put your air mattress on that, because now you're separating yourself from the cold metal of your truck bed. Blue foam keeping that cold metal away. Then you have your air mattress. Or think about good sleeping bags. I would highly suggest get a good sleeping bag before you get a buddy heater or a diesel heater or anything like that. Because what happens if you are reliant on that heating source and it goes out and you are in a very crappy cotton sleeping bag?
Yeah.
So get yourself
40-degree bag.
Get yourself a good, right. Get yourself a good 0 degrees mummied sleeping bag and keep yourself warm. And you don't need those fancy equipments. We, the assistant and I like our heated mattress pad for up in the rooftop tent. We only use that thing to warm the bed up so that we get in it, it's warm.
Yeah.
We turn it off right then. We don't use it all night long.
Yeah.
We get in, bed's already warm. We're not trying to expel our energy to warm the bed. It's already warm. So we slide in, it's easier to fall asleep. We turn all the electronics off for the heating then, and then our bodies will keep the tent warm, keep the bed warm and everything from there.
Yep.
All right, that's a few items. Just really briefly, listen to Monday's episode, and I think we'll cover a lot more.
Sounds good. So that does it for today's voicemail, snail mail segment. If you guys have voicemail or some feedback you want to send in, some stuff you want to talk about, you can do it at 916-345-4744. Leave us a voicemail. You can send us a text message. I'm still looking for more names for Jack, Stan, Jimmy over here. So send those in as well. Anything else to cover?
I think that's it. Yeah, we love having the voicemails. Keep them up. And with that,
out we.
The number you have called has been disconnected.